was reading some past Christmas slogans supported by the American Atheist. This one reads, "I am atheist, but I still love presents. Merry Xmas." Another one reads, "Who needs Christ at Christmas? No one." And then the word Christ is X'd out. That's not nice. You know, this year, the American Atheist holiday billboard reads, "Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is to skip church. I'm too old for fairy tales." But if atheists truly believe that Christ and the Christmas story is nothing more than a fairy tale, why not simply ignore it? The atheists don't attack other fairy tales, such as Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Why such vitriol and hostility toward Christianity, if indeed Christianity is nothing more than a cleverly devised fairy tale? The atheists that created this billboard obviously believe in Santa Claus. And yet they reject Jesus Christ and the Christmas message. Hello, I'm Bishop Ricky Holmes, and I believe in God. Not just any God, not just a God. I believe in the one true and living God. The God who is infinite in being and perfection, a most pure spirit, invisible, without body parts or passion. A God who is immutable. Immense, eternal, incomprehensible. Almighty. Most wise, most holy. Most free, most absolute. I believe in the one true God who is most loving, most gracious, merciful, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and in truth. but who was also most just and terrible in his judgments, hating all sin, and who will by no means clear the guilty. A God who works all things according to the counsel of his own immutable and most righteous will for his own purpose and glory. I believe in the triunity of God, not three gods in one, but one God eternally existent in three persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In short, I believe in the God of the Bible, and neither I nor any Christian apologizes for this belief. But why do I believe in God? Well, there are a number of reasons. For example, if there is no God, then why is there something rather than nothing? If there is no God, why does creation even exist? And if there is no God, how do we explain the intelligent design behind creation? You see, one reason for my faith in God is that I am living in a world where there is intelligence. Organization, and design. And logic dictates that where there is intelligence, there must be a mind. Where there is organization, there must be an organizer. And where there is design, there must be a designer. This argument for the existence of God is known as the teleological argument. It derives its name from the Greek word telos, which means design. The teleological argument goes simply like this. Number one, every design had a designer. That's simple enough. Number two, the universe has highly complex design. Therefore, number three, the universe had a designer. Every design has a designer, and the universe, being highly complex, also has a design. You see, our universe is as fascinating as it is mysterious. The observable universe is about 46 billion light years in radius, and it is characterized by order and design. And where there is order and useful arrangement in a system, there must be intelligence and purpose in organizing its cause. Everywhere that we look in this world in which we live, evidences intelligence, purpose, harmony, and design. Consider for a moment our planet Earth. You know, if the physical laws that govern our planet vary just a little, you and I could not exist. Our planet rotates at a speed of 1,000 miles an hour. Now, if the Earth's rotational speed were to slow down just a little, we would be crushed beneath the Earth's gravity. If the rotational speed of Earth were to increase, then you and I would fly off of the surface of the Earth like coins on a spinning top. The sun, it has a surface temperature of 12,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And if it were any closer to the earth, you and I would burn up. If the sun were further away, then the entire earth would become a huge ball of ice. Our globe is tilted at an exact angle of 23 degrees, providing us with the 4 seasons. If it were not so tilted, vapors from the oceans would move north and south and develop into monstrous continents of ice. The moon is 238,900 miles from the earth. If the moon did not retain this exact distance from the earth, then the ocean tides would inundate the land completely, destroying all human life on this planet. Now, the average depth of our oceans is 14,000 feet. Can you imagine that? 14,000 feet deep. And if the ocean floors were merely a few feet deeper than they are, the carbon dioxide and oxygen balance of the earth would be disrupted, and you and I could not exist on this planet as we do now. No animal, no plant life could exist if the ocean floor were just a few feet deeper. If the atmosphere did not retain its present density, but thinned out just a little, then many of the meteors, which now harmlessly burn up when they hit the Earth's atmosphere, would constantly bombard our planet. You and I would have to live underground or in bomb-proof buildings or meteor-proof buildings in order to survive. But none of these things occur. Why not? Because there is a clear, organized scheme or system by which a set of laws and principles work together to sustain life on this planet as we know it. Imagine for a moment that you are an astronaut that has just landed on the planet Mars. As you exit your ship and your feet touch Martian soil for the very first time, you look down and to your surprise you notice a book lying in the soil. Curious, you reach down. You pick up the book And you notice that it appears to be a Martian dictionary. Now, are you going to immediately assume that this dictionary was merely the product of random chance? It has no origin, it has no source, it just happens to be. Or will you conclude that there must be a mind behind the intelligence? To say that intelligent life on Earth is merely the product of random chance is like saying hurricane winds blew through a junkyard and formed a Boeing 747. That type of thinking is beyond reason. Where is the intelligence, or where there is intelligence, there must be a mind behind that intelligence. And all of creation is marked by intelligence. We now know, for an example, that a single cell organism, the most basic form of life, is incredibly complex. So complex, in fact, that our best computers cannot understand it. Single-cell organisms are what you would call high-tech factories. They are complete with artificial language and decoding systems. They have central memory banks that store and retrieve impressive amounts of information. In addition, they have precise precision control systems to regulate the automatic assembly of its components. They have proofreading and quality control mechanisms that safeguard against errors. They have assembly systems that use principles of prefabrication and modular construction, and a complete replication system is actually included inside every cell that allows this organism to reproduce at an incredible rate. Now, how does one explain such intelligence in a single cell organism apart from an intelligent creator? Consider also the DNA of a living cell. Now, DNA contains the genetic code which is inside each cell. Every living cell, even the most basic, contains DNA. DNA can have millions of component parts, and they are called nucleotides, which are arranged in a very specific sequence. DNA is like the software of the cell. Similar to a computer program that makes the computer work. Now, DNA controls everything about the cell. It controls all of the functions of the cell. It controls the growth of the cell, the replication of the cell, and it does so with uncanny accuracy. We may think that we can store a lot of information inside electronic media, but if the genetic information in a DNA or in the DNA of a microscopic cell could be written down in English, it would equal the entire volumes of the Encyclopedia of Britannica. When you and I were conceived, when we were just the size of a little dot in our mother's womb, if you could at that very point reach in and grab hold of our DNA and hold it up in its length, it would be 6 foot long. Every cell in the human body contains a blueprint. If you would take the average size teaspoon and fill it with DNA to the top, you could have all the information estimated to build every species of life that have ever existed on this planet, presently estimated at 1,000 million, and still have enough information left over in that tiny teaspoon to fill every book that has ever been written throughout the history of mankind. How do we explain this intelligence? Where does this intelligence come from? I'm Bishop Ricky Holmes, and I believe that all intelligence comes from God. What do you believe?